Frank James Edgar is an American mixed martial artist who competes as a featherweight in the Ultimate Fighting Championship and is a former UFC Lightweight Champion. As of February 3, 2014, he is number 3 in official UFC featherweight rankings. Early life: born and raised in Toms River, New Jersey by Frank and Mary Anise, Frankie Edgar wrestled at Toms River High School East, making it to the New Jersey State Championship tournament on 3 occasions, placing second as a junior and fifth as a senior. Edgar is the oldest of 3 children. Edgar went on to compete in the NHSCA Senior Nationals and placed second before he finished high school. He continued wrestling at Clarion University of Pennsylvania, where he qualified for the Nationals all 4 years there. Edgar is also an assistant coach for the Rutgers University wrestling team. Frankie is mostly of Italian descent, with his mother being 100% Italian as well as his stepfather who raised him. He also has some German ancestry from his biological father's side, which is reflected in his non-Italian surname. Mixed martial arts career: Edgar entered his first mixed martial arts fight with only a few weeks of training outside of his wrestling background. Edgar originally trained with Rob Guarino of Rhino Fight Team, but today he is part of the Gracie system under Ricardo Almeida in Hamilton, NJ. Since 7th grade, Edgar has wrestled with Steve Rivera at Elite Wrestling NJ in Jackson, NJ. His boxing trainer is Mark Henry of Millstone, NJ. Ultimate Fighting Championship: Edgar amassed a 5-0 record before trying out for Season 5 of The Ultimate Fighter. Edgar tried out in front of Dana White and Joe Silva, but was not selected to be on the show. However, a month later the UFC contacted Edgar and asked if he would accept a fight with fellow undefeated fighter Tyson Griffin at UFC 67. Griffin caught Edgar in a deep knee at the end of the fight, but Edgar refused to tap and lasted out the remainder of the round to win by unanimous decision. The fight has been frequently rebroadcast on UFC Unleashed. Edgar followed up with a first-round TKO victory over Mark Bock at UFC 73. He made his main card debut at UFC 78 against veteran fighter Spencer Fisher and won via unanimous decision. Edgar suffered his first loss at UFC Fight Night 13 against Gray Maynard. This fight marked the first bout of a series. Maynard used his size and wrestling skill to overpower Edgar en route to a unanimous decision. Edgar rebounded with another fight of the night victory against Hermes Frena Section at UFC, Silva vs Irvine. Edgar then defeated former UFC Lightweight Champion Sean Sherk, outworking him all 3 rounds to earn the unanimous decision victory over the stronger and heavier fighter. Edgar was expected to face Kurt Pellegrino on December 5, 2009 on the Ultimate Fighter 10 finale, but Pellegrino was forced to withdraw due to an injury. Matt Veach was named as Pellegrino's replacement, moving up from an undercard bout. After being on the defensive for most of the first round, Edgar became the aggressor in the second round by punishing Veach with strikes, ultimately knocking Veach down with a straight right. Edgar then proceeded to take Veach's back and finishing him with a rear naked choke at 2:22 into the second round. Edgar has some of the best boxing and footwork in the UFC. He also has amazing heart and determination. UFC Lightweight Champion: at UFC 112, Edgar was matched against Lightweight Champion BJ Penn. After a long, back-and-forth, predominantly standing fight, the judges' scorecards were called on for a decision. The scores were 50-45, 49-46 and 48-47, all for Edgar. The unanimous decision win awarded him the UFC Lightweight Championship. On June 24, 2010, ESPN announced Edgar as a nominee for Best Upset of the Year at the 2010 ESPY Awards. The bout at UFC 112 was deemed close enough that Edgar's first title defense took the form of a UFC 118 rematch against Penn on August 28, 2010. Edgar defeated Penn via unanimous decision to retain the UFC Lightweight Championship, this time with no controversy after taking Penn down multiple times and outstriking him throughout all 5 rounds. All 3 judges scored the bout 50-45 for Edgar, making him the second fighter to defeat Penn in the lightweight division, and the second fighter ever to beat Penn twice. Edgar's next title defense was against Gray Maynard, the only man to have defeated Edgar, in a rematch from UFC Fight Night, Florian vs. Lawson. Maynard earned the number 1 contender spot at UFC 118 with a win over Kenny Florian. The bout took place on January 1, 2011 at UFC 125, with the fight ending in a draw. In the first round of the bout, Maynard dropped Edgar multiple times, but Edgar would survive. His fight with Maynard marks the third time in UFC history that a championship fight ended as a draw. During the UFC 125 post-fight press conference, it was announced that Edgar's next opponent would be Anthony Pettis in a belt unification match. However, less than 2 hours later UFC President Dana White announced a change of plans. Edgar was then scheduled to fight Gray Maynard for the third time at UFC 130. Dana White confirmed on May 9, 2011 that both Edgar and Maynard had sustained injuries and that their bout was pulled from event. The fight was rescheduled as the main event of UFC 136. After a similar first round to their bout at UFC 125, Edgar won via KO at 3:54 of round 4, earning knockout of the night honors. Edgar faced Benson Henderson on February 26, 2012 at UFC 144. Henderson defeated Edgar via unanimous decision to become the new UFC Lightweight Champion. The fight earned Fight of the Night honors. A rematch with Henderson took place on August 11, 2012 at UFC 150. In a close bout which was tightly contested, Henderson defeated Edgar again, this time via split decision. UFC featherweight debut. On the August 21, 2012 edition of UFC Tonight, it was revealed that Frankie Edgar had announced his intentions to move to the featherweight division. Edgar was briefly linked to a December 2012 bout with Ricardo Lamas, but it was scrapped after Edgar replaced the injured Eric Koch to face champion Jose Copyright Aldo on October 13, 2012 at UFC 153. On September 11, Aldo pulled out of the match with a foot injury. The bout with Aldo was rescheduled for UFC 156, where Edgar lost to Aldo via unanimous decision. Both men earned Fight of the Night honors for their performances. Edgar faced Charles Oliveira on July 6, 2013 at UFC 162 in his first non-title bout since 2009. Edgar won via unanimous decision, snapping his 3-fight losing streak. Both fighters received Fight of the Night honors. On September 11, 2013, the UFC announced during UFC Tonight that Edgar would coach against former 2-time opponent, BJ Penn, for the 19th season of The Ultimate Fighter. The season aired on Fox Sports 1, and the two coaches faced each other for the third time on July 6, 2014 at the Ultimate Fighter 19 finale. Edgar won the one-sided bout by TKO in the third round. Personal life. Edgar and his wife, Renee, were married 10 days after UFC Fight Night 13. The couple have two sons: Francesco, born in January 2009, and Santino James, born in May 2010. They also have one daughter, Valentina, born in June 2014. Edgar is a resident of Toms River, New Jersey. Edgar was a featured fighter on True Life, I'm a Mixed Martial Artist leading up to his first fight with Maynard. Edgar appears in all 3 UFC Undisputed video games and also EA Sports UFC. Championships and accomplishments: Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC Lightweight Championship, 2 successful title defenses, 1 successful title retainment, Fight of the Night, Knockout of the Night, tied for all-time leader in Fight of the Night awards in UFC history. Sherdog, Fight of the Year vs. Gray Maynard on January 1, 2011 All Violence Second Team. World MMA Awards, Fight of the Year vs. Gray Maynard on January 1. Reality Fighting Lightweight Championship. ISPY Award, Best Upset ISPY Award, a Euro nomination. Mixed Martial Arts Record, see also, Gray Maynard, references. External links: Professional MMA record for Frankie Edgar from Sherdog.